What's up, guitar players? We've got a great new practice session for the week ahead. If you haven't been following along, I'm putting out a brand new practice session every single week to help you become a well-rounded and great sounding guitar player. Now, the goal is to hit this each day before you jump into all the songs and solos that you're learning so that you can spend time skill building and not get tripped up when you move into your primary session. So make sure you like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of the skills and drills we'll be hitting in the near and distant future. Okay, today we've got fretboard literacy, we've got touch, we've got feel, we've got some flavor, we've got accuracy, we've got rhythm skills, we've got lead skills, and this is all in just 15 minutes. So exercise 1 is basically just a chord progression. We're using some 7 chords, some 6 chords. We've got a minor 9 in there. Basically chords that are going to help you just get a feel for moving around the neck with your fretting hand. And of course, it's also going to be helpful for getting touch and feel going with your picking hand. As always, the tabs to every exercise are linked and ready for download in the description. So check those out so you don't need to come back to the video every single time you want to go through this practice session. Again, the hope is that you use this every single day for the week. So download those, check those out. And with that, exercise 1 is... So we'll go through that a few more times in just a second, but really quick, what we're trying to do here is really nail the feel of the fretting and picking hand. So the right touch with your strumming and your picking, the right touch with, the amount of pressure you're giving to the chords, so not over squeezing, but not going so light that you're, muting the strings, and, making sure you're transitioning, in a meaningful way, making sure you really got those, positions under your fingers. And that's really the deal, right? I would always recommend, I always feel like I'm off without a metronome. So I recommend using metronome to stay in rhythm. And, if you're advanced, you can go with a strumming pattern of your choice, use some triplets, something like that. If you're a beginner, you can just spend, your time working through the positions one at a time, not worrying about a metronome, maybe just turn that off and not focus on that for now, and just nail the shapes. Are they ringing out? Are you getting them clear? That stretch over here for the index finger, is that feeling comfortable for you? Things like that, right? There's that skip string here on the, on the B6. So things like that, you can focus on that if you're a little newer. Now the strumming pattern I'm going with is one individual note, down and up. And then I'm muting the strings, so I'm cutting it off when I come up, and then I'm just going into another downstroke. So there it is. And then just repeating that. Right? I like to tell people to hit each of these exercises for 5 minutes, right? They're timed exercises. So 5 minutes a piece. We'll go through 3 exercises that will really get you geared up for your playing. If you need to shorten them, that's totally fine, but it should be repetitive. Repetition is such an, low-hanging fruit to get us great at skill building and, get us, really good at our instrument, or, it can be applied to sports and things like that. But for right now, we're focusing on guitar. So 5 minutes, put on a metronome if you're feeling good for it. Mess with a different strumming pattern if you're ready for it and you want to be more advanced with your strumming. Go with some finger picking if you want to mix things up. And if you're a little newer, just make sure the notes are all ringing out the way you feel they should be. Do they really sound solid? Are you missing a string here? Oh, wait, I gotta stretch, things like that. Use the immediate feedback to your advantage. But just spend 5 minutes. I'll show it again, and then we will move on to exercise 2. So exercise 2 is a sliding lick, and it goes like this. So there it is. Now you'll recognize a lot of the same principles go into each exercise, even if they're focusing on different skills. So we're still focusing on touch and feel of the fretting and picking hands. So for example, you don't want to over clench the neck because then your slides are going to be too rigid and stiff. You want just the right touch to, get it to slide fluidly. And same thing, you don't want to over pick and make that sound stiff because of the picking, right? So there's that beautiful balance that always needs to be taking place to make things sound good. I'm adding some vibrato at the end of each, rotation, but you don't need to do that. Get familiar with the shapes and the positions first. But you can have a little fun with adding your own flavor to the lick. But that's really the deal. And I like to think that the more simple something is, the more you have to get dialed into those little nuances. Right? How soft can I play? Can I bring a little more? Do I like it more with a little more intensity? Do I like it better with the softer touch? Or do I recognize that they could just go well in different contexts? But regardless, you should be moving through that for 5 more minutes. And again, you might be saying to yourself, well, this wasn't really sexy. The whole point is to get geared up to play the things that you are focused on now. But you're working that skill of moving along the neck. Nice positions early on. Get your fingers warmed up. Get that mind-muscle connection going. Work on some individual notes. Right? That will translate into any song or solo that has slides in it for you. All right, so remember, repetition is key. So 5-minute timer, metronome. Sorry, I started on the second little phrase. But, something that keeps you honest, that allows you to, stay in a good rhythm, but isn't forcing you to go too fast, right? You can still hear things out, feel things out, get that immediate feedback. So there's exercise 2. With that, let's move on to exercise 3, which is now blending small chord shapes, triads, and a little bit of a lead line, and then you'll be ready to rock. You'll move on to all that fun stuff that you got planned for yourself. All right, so exercise 3 is... All right, so there it is, and just like the other exercises, it's relatively simple, but it's potent, and it gives us a lot to work with, with regards to our guitar skills and leveling up. So we've got these really important triad shapes, which are great for understanding the neck and mapping things out in our own, fretboard literacy. And, you can take these shapes and put them anywhere. So here's G major. Well, what if I want something like that when I have a song in the key of C major? right? I can move that shape up, and now it's a C. What if that progression, G, E minor, C, and then D shows up in C? Well, I could just move that up. C, A minor, F, and then G, or I can use G right here, right? So you've got access now to a few shapes that'll take you across the neck. And we're moving those shapes, so positioning the fingers in maybe a more advanced way because you've got to transition a little quicker. And then you got that lead line incorporated. So it's not just moving chord shapes, it's moving them. I know I'm not playing the exact line, but right, you've got to then move from lead back to chord, back to individual note, back to chord. So it's an important way to, or a valuable way to get your hands warmed up. Picking hand for accuracy, fretting hand for movement, accuracy as well, feel, rhythm, timing, all those things. Emphasis, depending on how you want to play around with that lead line, things like that. So again, just another 5 minutes, put on a metronome, something that allows you to stay really, really consistent, and you should be in a great place. And again, 5 minutes on repeat, and you'll be ready for all the songs and solos that you want to learn, and you'll be able to attack them in a more meaningful way because you won't be slipping and tripping, learning Drive by Incubus, No, you'll be able to fluidly or whatever song you're working on, why that one came to mind, but you won't have those trip ups and slip ups. So this ends up being a really valuable, practice session. Now, I know the exercises might feel really simple, but they are really important to helping you level up and develop as a guitar player. So try to stick with this for the entire week. Maybe it's not every single day. Maybe you only have time to play guitar 3 or 4 times a week. But if you can bake this in on the front end of each session, I really do think it's going to be valuable for your playing. And if you did find this helpful, you want to have new ideas, new skills that you want to work on from week to week, I will be putting up new practice sessions every week. So make sure to like the video if you found it helpful, subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up on all of those new practice sessions. And with that, I will see you on the next one. Peace.